looking to introduce you to the tarot. So what I'm going to be looking at is what the tarot is, how it works, and I'll touch a little bit on the interpretation side of tarot as well. So at the end of this video, you should have a much better understanding of what the tarot actually is, also what it isn't, and how it actually works. Because I think that's the biggest thing with a lot of people. They don't actually understand what the tarot is and how it actually works. So there's a lot of myth and mystery that comes into the tarot. And I'm going to say look out for my Demystifying the Tarot series, which I'll be sharing through my social platforms. At each week I'll be sharing a different myth or misconception that people have about the tarot, and I'll be busting those myths. So have a look out for those posts. So what is the tarot? Very simply put, the tarot is a pack of picture cards. In standard tarot sets, you always have 78 of them, and essentially the tarot is split into two main parts. So you have the major arcana, the minor arcana, which is then further split into what's called court cards. I'll be pulling this up onto the screen so you can have a bit of a closer look at the base structure of the tarot. So when you hear people talking about I pulled this major arcana card, and it was this, that, the next thing, and you're probably thinking, what the heck is a major arcana card? What does the word arcana even mean? Secrets. That's pretty much the meaning of arcana. Secrets, and it was generally associated with circles of high-level magic, the Hermetic orders. So they would have certain arcana or certain secrets that they would keep amongst themselves, and the tarot being one of them. So to put it very simply, you have the big secrets of life and the smaller secrets of life. Court cards, they're more about personality traits, behaviors, the nature of certain situations. So that's pretty much court cards in a nutshell. These are personality types. So big life stuff, small life stuff, personalities and natures of situations. So that's the basic structure of tarot. So we have what the tarot is. It's a set of 78 picture cards, and its primary uses is divination and self-development and self-awareness. So when we talk about the word divination, what the word divination actually means is seeking divine guidance. So that can look like a number of different things depending on the culture. So divination has been around for absolute centuries. I'm talking tens of thousands of years we've been doing divination. And that just comes to show that human nature, we're always curious about what's possibly coming next. Where are we? Where should we be? Where could we be? So we're always asking these questions. So divination has been around for absolute years. And divination, the act of seeking divine guidance, that's pretty much what you're doing with the tarot. You're looking for guidance. You're looking for direction. I'm dealing with this situation. How could I deal with it better? Why am I dealing with this situation? Where could I go with this situation? So the guidance-based perspective of tarot is possibly one of the main uses that people would do a reading of tarot cards. That's why they would be doing it. And then the other aspect, which is more in line with what I teach in tarot. I teach quite a bit of this, along with the divination side, but I also teach the aspect of tarot of using it for personal development, self-growth, and that ties in quite nicely with your Hermetic orders as well. A lot of them, what they've got in the tarot and why they've developed the tarot is their systems that they use for self-betterment. And that is the premise of a lot of that work that you do within the Hermetic orders, is to grow and improve on yourself, to become better, in some of the circles to become more powerful, and in other circles for empowerment. Okay, so there are a couple of different schools of thoughts and reasons for doing that kind of work in the orders. So the aspect of tarot of or what I like to call revelation-based tarot. So divination-based tarot guidance, revelation-based tarot self-awareness, self-improvement, self-betterment, personal growth. That all fits in really nicely with your revelation side of tarot, because when you're doing that kind of work with the tarot, you're going to be having revelations. All right, just to put the picture on put the bow on the picture there. Okay, so we've got an idea of the structure of what the tarot is. So when you're hearing these words, major arcana, minor arcana, we've got a bit of an idea of what it is people are talking about. and what the tarot actually is and its two main uses. So a pack of 78 picture cards, used primarily for divination and revelation-based purposes. So what is the tarot not? Okay, so what the tarot isn't, it's not the work of the devil. It's definitely not evil. They really are just a pack of cards. There's no bad juju. It really is safe to pick up a set and touch it. You're not going to catch any funny things from it. And the other side is it's not meant to be a form of entertainment. And I do understand that in some countries, for some readers, from a legal perspective, they have to market it as entertainment, which for me, I find that to be very sad and ignorant on the politician side, because they just don't understand what it is they're asking of a reader. Essentially, it's going against the grain of what a reader is actually doing. So in essence, the tarot actually isn't there as a form of divination, and I urge people going for readings to have a genuine, authentic reading, a genuine reason for having a reading done. Obviously, I understand people are curious about, what is it all about and what is entailed, and that's cool. Like, go and suss out that curiosity and go have a reading. But try not to have expectations or preconceived ideas of what you think should happen in that reading, and have the discussion with your reader beforehand. How do you read? Why do you read? What do you read with? What things can you look at? And that touches into things that we have different types of readers. Every reader is different. Some can do more predictive-based tarot, where they can do future guidance-based readings, but not every reader can do that. So asking that of any reader is not actually okay. You want to check with the reader first. What can you actually read, and how do you read? Those are very important things. So I think the biggest misconception people have about the tarot is that it's a form of fortune telling. So when you think of the word tarot or tarot reader, you might picture this traditional gypsy, and I use that word very loosely because I know there is connotations attached to that word that can be upsetting for some people. So I mean, no offense there. I'm just looking to create a picture for the people that don't have deeper understandings. So traditional gypsy style, they've got the big earrings, and they've got the glass ball, and they've got the creepy long nails, and you're like, this person is scary and intimidating. And they're like, yeah, I see this tall, dark, handsome man in your future. He's going to sweep you off your feet, and it's going to be marvelous and fantastic, and you're going to fall pregnant in 2 years' time, and you're going to have 2.5 kids, and you're going to live behind that white picket fence. And this is what some people look for when they're going to have a reading done, or what the expectation they have when they're going to a tarot reader of, this is what I'm going to see, and this is what I'm going to get. I mean, the amount of times of the years where I was reading, where people would tell someone about me, that I'm really gifted, I'm really good at what I do, and you should really go and see Tam, she's great. And they would arrive and they would meet me, and they'd say, you're not what I was expecting at all. And I would ask, what were you expecting? A little bit more of a fortune teller style? And they'd be like, well, yeah, because I would dress normal. I don't need the crystal ball. Hey, long nails to the girls who can do the long nails, props. I don't function well with long, creepy nails. So the misconception of just tarot in general, of being associated with mystics and fortune tellers, take that and burn it. Okay, because that's not what the tarot is at all. And we do get those types of readers, and for them, they possibly are actually really gifted, and they found that working through that facade has been a good way to get messages out to people that need to hear those things. And some of them are just hacks. They're not actually a genuine reader, and they're just playing the part of a fortune teller, which is also for me very sad, because you're taking such a beautiful tool and doing it such a disservice. So when you're looking for a tarot reader, understand that all of us, or all readers, because I'm no longer a reader, I'm retired, the readers are different. We're unique. We have unique gifts. We have different ways of reading. We all read with different sets of cards. I mean, I have close on 20 sets. Some readers have a single set that they work with, and that is their reading set, and that's all that they need. Some of them may work with 3 different sets in a reading. Some may pull out from 5 or 6 or 7 different sets throughout a reading. You may go and have this set this week and a different set the following week. So the sets that we read with, how we read, all of that is so unique and different, and understanding that is also key to understanding the tarot better. So that's why I've chose to include it in this introductory video, because I think that that's important. So we understand what the tarot is. It's 2 main purposes. I mean, I understand the difference that there's different types of readers out there. And if we're going to go and have a reading, to check on those things and see who's more in alignment with what it is that I'm looking for. Right, so we also understand what the tarot isn't. It's not evil, can't do you any harm. It's not everybody's going to predict your future. Not everybody's going to look deep, dark into the recesses of your soul where you keep all the scary stuff hidden. So don't be intimidated by the cards. And I know a lot of people are, and it's we have Hollywood to thank for that. Every time they put the tarot into movies, it's portrayed and in the opposite of what it actually is. So a lot of the preconceived ideas that people have around tarot, it's misconceptions. So how does the tarot actually work? So we understand it's a pack of cards, it's got pictures on it, and how these cards have been shaped over the years by the people that have put all their work and effort into specifically divination and revelation based tarot. And this only started in the late 1800s, so tarot is actually quite new. Prior to that, tarot was just a card game. That's it. Card game for the rich and the elite, man. Like, not even the poor people got to play with the tarot cards. It was until the late 1800s when tarot was seen for its potential to be a divination tool. And then coming into the early 1900s when the orders started to see it as a really beautiful medium to use for working towards your higher levels. So initiatory sequences were brought into the cards. Their knowledge and the hidden wisdom that they would teach to people, initiates within the orders, those went into the cards. And the aspect of revelation-based tarot started to be grown on. So we had the divination side coming in the late 1800s. Coming into the early 1900s, we then have more of growth, awareness, empowerment, that aspect of tarot coming in, which I'm really thankful that work was done, because that's such a really beautiful way to use the tarot. It's for those purposes. So it's not always what should I be doing, but also what could I be doing. So how the tarot works, if we're looking at it from a divination perspective of actually reading the cards, how does one go about reading a tarot card? So what you need is intuition. We all have intuition. We all have that sixth sense. We all get that gut feeling. And that's what you use to read the cards. That's how interpretation works. That is the very base foundation for interpretation, is intuition. So intuitively, you draw a card, you have a look at it, and what am I seeing on the card? What picture is on that card? What's happening in that picture? Are there certain signs, certain symbols, certain colors? Is there something very specific in the card that's really catching your eye? How is the card making you feel? What do you think of when you look at that card? What is it bringing up for you? Is it triggering anything in you? And you looking at all of these things, you haven't even looked at what the card even means, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. I find that people get very caught up in, when they're learning the tarot, the thing that catches everybody is, how am I going to memorize 78 different cards and their meanings? Well, years and years of working with them. That's how. I still have days where I look at a card and I think, what was the base meaning of this card again? And I've been doing this for more than 20 years. So knowing the base meanings of the cards is not actually important. It's not an important aspect to tarot. Using your intuition and trusting your intuition is an important aspect to tarot, because that's how interpretation works. You're interpreting through your intuition. And intuitively, you'll know do I even need to look in the guidebook? Do I even need to look at what the space meaning is? And perhaps the answer often is, well, no. Just looking at the card, reading it intuitively, I've gotten my answer. So how the tarot works is very simply, you're looking at a picture and you're interpreting what that picture means for you in the present moment. With that being said, you want to work with the tarot in the present moment, because right here, right now, this is all that we have. We don't have 5 seconds ago, we don't have 5 seconds from now, we literally have here. So when working with the tarot, and keep this in mind if you're going for tarot readings, to formulate your questions around the present moment. And you're going to say, yeah, but I want to know, what's going to happen with this and what's the potential. And that's also something you can look at, but how you're phrasing the questions is, how can I get there from here? Okay, so look and work here. You must understand that you're creating your future in the present moment. You're creating your future right now. By watching this video, you're creating a different part to your future, where it's like, oh, okay, tarot is actually all about this and this and this. Maybe I want to pick up the cards. But we're not looking at the cards and asking the question, am I going to pick up a set of cards in 2 weeks' time? Are you going to pick up a set of cards now? Okay, so the present moment is all we've got. So when we're working with the tarot, we work with it from the present moment. So be aware with trying to do predictive tarot and look into the future. I'm going to drop a link in the below this video for a link to another video where I actually go a little bit more in depth on the pitfalls of predictive tarot, because I feel that that's quite an important watch as well, and it can be very, very beneficial and go hand in hand with what I'm talking about here. So interpreting the tarot is actually very easy. We just make it complicated because we're like, oh, I don't know this card and I've never seen it before. You're literally just looking at the picture and what are you getting from the picture. And the more that you work with the tarot and the more that you're reading and interpreting the tarot, the easier it becomes. So tarot becomes a practice, essentially. From the purpose of working with the tarot for self-awareness and self-development, or your revelation side of tarot, there's so much beautiful stuff you can do there. So that's where the structure of the tarot comes in quite handy, of when you want to work on your big stuff. Who you are as a person, your authenticity. You want to work through traumas or past experiences. You want to understand why you are the way you are, why you've developed certain patterns or certain character traits, behaviors. You want to work through addictions. You want to work through traumas, anything like that. Or you just want to be a better person. Tarot is amazing for that. So all of that is major arcana stuff. Like I say, big stuff, smaller stuff. Your minor arcana is from a growth and a self-awareness perspective, is working with the 4 aspects of yourself. So you have 4 different suits within the minor arcana, which relate to your physical self, your emotional self, your mental self, your energetic self. So you have your core soul, authentic self, and then your outside layers of yourself. And if you'd like to understand the aspects of the self better, I've got a video for that too, because I'm just that awesome. So working with the tarot for self-improvement, your core cards are fantastic as well, because they relate to personality traits or ways of being, or how you can be. So both from a sort of a good thing and a bad thing. So you can be strong and fiery and forceful, but you can also be a bit of an asshole. Okay, so that teaches you the two sides of how you can be with your personality. You can be sweet and kind and gentle and giving, and you can also be walked over and overgiving, and you actually deplete your energy. You're just constantly outputting. So the beautiful thing about the core cards is it shows you the duality of personality traits and ways and natures of people on their personality traits. Shows you the duality side of that, and finding a middle line between the two of that. So being strong within who you are, but not being forceful with who you are, or being, I can't show who I am because I'm scared of that. So the tarot and its structure is just impeccable. It's a beautiful system for learning about yourself and doing that self-assessment and that self-work. So the tarot really is nowhere near as terrifying as we think it is. It's nowhere near as intimidating as we think it is. It's actually a really beautiful system that's been put together and developed by some phenomenal minds out there that have understandings into things like psychology, the occult, spirituality, and they've kind of taken all of these systems and tied them together. And that's why I love the tarot so much. As a teenager, I had quite an intense curiosity around psychology, human nature, and why people do the things they do, why they are the way they are. And I would study that alongside with my tarot, and I've always tied the two together really beautifully. So when people look at the tarot, they look and they think, oh, it's just mysticism and it's this mystical realm. But bringing tarot into the realms of psychology, you're opening up such a broader aspect into who people are at their core and human nature, because tarot is essentially their archetypes. That's what the cards portray. They portray specific archetypes. So your major arcana, your big stuff, will portray archetypes of life experiences, common life experiences. So we know that the death card is there. We're all going to experience death, whether that's our own physical death or death of someone else. Death can also relate to the end of certain things. So it's not always physical death. So if you're in a reading for the first time and they pull the death card, don't be like, oh, I'm going to die next week. This is terrible. Perhaps look at the card from the perspective of, there's obviously certain parts of my life where death is taking place. Where am I needing to let go of? What stuff am I carrying around with me that no longer serves me? I'm just demystifying one of the scary cards there quickly. So you have all these common archetypes, life experiences that you can relate to. Anybody can relate to these experiences, these archetypes. Your minor arcana, your core cards, these are personality archetypes. These are archetypes specific to the different aspects of the self. So emotional archetypes, emotional experiences, places for growth. So the tarot is 78 picture cards of archetypes. So tying in the psychology aspect into tarot, it would need to be something that needs to be looked at into more detail from the psychology fields out there, because I think that it can assist them in bringing the spiritual aspect, which I find missing quite deeply in the psychology realms. So there's a lot of psychological stuff that comes into the tarot, which when you're working it from the revelation side, so self-growth, self-work, awareness, self-improvement, perhaps you're working through traumas or depression or something like that, having that psychology foundation to the cards, you can actually gain so much from working with these cards. You know, you're not just, who am I going to marry and what's his star sign? You're looking into and exploring realms of, why did I have this experience? What can I take from this experience? What part of this experience haven't I explored yet? What am I not seeing? What am I not understanding? How can I find healing in this experience? And these are all things that you can explore with the tarot. There's so much more to it than just being a pack of 78 picture cards. But there's nothing mystical, there's nothing magical about them. The magic really comes from the person that's reading the card. So if that's you reading for yourself, you're creating that magic for yourself. You are the magic that reads the cards. So let's recap. What is the tarot? 78 picture cards used primarily for either divination, guidance, or revelation, self-betterment. How it works? Intuition. You're reading the cards with your natural intuitive abilities. What does the card mean for you? What is it making you feel? What does it make you think of? What's catching your eye? And then you go into interpretation from there. So you interpret what the card means for you. What isn't the tarot? It's not evil, not the work of the devil, and it really isn't a form of entertainment. And touching on that again, just emphasizing that all readers are different. There's some really gifted readers out there, and a lot of those gifted readers get treated like fortune tellers. So have respect for the realm of readers that are out there. So we now understand, hopefully a better understanding of what the tarot is, how it works, what it's for, what it isn't. and then a little bit of insight into the interpretation aspect of tarot. I hope this helps. I hope it gives you that better understanding of the cards, that it takes that mystery and that mysticism out of it, because I haven't stood here and I said, well, they're this pack of magic cards and they're going to tell you everything you want to know about yourself. Well, they can actually tell you pretty much everything you want to know about yourself. It's all on how you're forming your questions. But there's nothing mysterious about them. There's nothing intimidating about them. In fact, there's some beautiful artwork on the cards as well. So even if you're looking at it, you want to get a pack of tarot cards for creative expression, perhaps to give you that a direction for your creativity, also inspiration for your creativity. There's some beautiful artwork on the cards, even if you're just looking at it from an artistic perspective. That's also definitely okay. So I hope this was insightful. I hope it was informative, and I hope we understand the tarot better, what it is, what it's all about, how it works, all those good things. So this is my very basic introduction to tarot. If you're inquisitive to learn more about the tarot, I do teach. I've got a variety of workshops and courses and books available, where my main purpose with teaching tarot is to make it as simple as possible, and is to make it as accessible as possible to those who are wanting to work with it. So I hope this helps. I hope that's cleared a bit of misconceptions and ideas out the way, and I hope it's made you a little bit more curious about the tarot.